Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Open for Business. I've got Andrew Hewitt here today. We're going to talk about CALIPER Wellness, and it's personalized healthcare, counseling, and therapeutics. Boy, if you could just get up here, I'll give you a week. You probably could straighten me out. So welcome to the show. No, trust me, I don't want to. So we're going to start off with the biggest, baddest question that anybody's ever put on my questionnaire. Does pineapple go on pizza?
I sent that to you because I felt you were like, hey, put your questions down and come up with something for the final question. So I was like, well, the last question should be different because everything else is serious that we're going to talk about, right? We're going to talk about mental health, and we're going to talk about how my approach to practicing mental health goes, right? But I figured the last question should be a little fun and
we're going to come to that. I just want people to know this is going to be a great interview because you know what? I can already tell the mind is there. So let's talk about CALIPER Wellness.
Okay.
So you're personalized healthcare. Let's talk about that.
All right. So I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner.
Okay.
The typical way to deal with depression, anxiety, right, is, well, hey, we just prescribe SSRIs, right?
Right.
And, SSRIs, they cause weight gain. They do.
Okay.
To what degree? All depends on the medication, but they do. So when I get a patient who comes to me who's a diabetic, or they're obese, or even just overweight, or they're a guy my age, right? They're middle age or in their 50s, and they got the spare tire, and they're like, I'm dieting, I'm exercising, I'm doing everything right, I'm eating the way I'm supposed to, I still can't lose that weight. And I'm depressed about it. I don't want to take my shirt off, in front of my wife, or if I'm single, I don't want to I'm afraid about how I look. I'm embarrassed. How am I going to give you a medication that's going to make you feel better, but it's going to add to that problem.
Right.
Right. So I go to the root cause of it. I look at let's look at why you can't lose that weight. Let's check your testosterone. Let's check your thyroid, and let's work on those root causes and handle the depression and anxiety, that body dysmorphia, as a secondary. Where if we correct that issue, a lot of people walk around with a thyroid issue, they don't even know, right? So if we correct that, the other thing will happen after the fact. And if it doesn't, then we could address it. But in the meanwhile, let's get some other stuff going on. Let's look to see what's going on inside, because it's not always all in your head.
Right. Yeah, because there's could be physical things going on.
Like I said, if your thyroid's jacked up one way or the other, it's going to cause anxiety and depression. If your testosterone is low, you're going to have a slow metabolism, right? Because you're not going to exercise with that same ferocity as someone who's 22, 23 when you're 45. It's just impossible.
Right.
And a lot of guys will walk around with their testosterone like in the 200s, and it's not optimized. It needs to be in that 400 to, actually higher. It has to be like in that 700 to 1200 range,
So as we get older, that can actually be fixed?
Oh, heck yeah. Easily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thyroid, testosterone rather, could easily be fixed with weekly or biweekly injection. Injections. Some of my patients are getting testosterone injections twice a week.
Wow.
They feel instantly within that first 7 days. They're feeling, oh man, I feel better. I'm exercising with that higher level of intensity that I didn't have a month ago.
And is that truly why us guys get older? We just start slowing down because our testosterone. Testosterone is just not.
That's why we develop metabolic syndrome, which is common. It's why we get that spare tire.
Right.
Our metabolism slows down, and one of the reasons why is because we slow down, and our testosterone starts to get down.
Wow. Okay. So I always look. I'm a TV guy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I don't believe anything on the internet, and I don't believe anything on TV. So you're always getting all these, at age 25, I'm like, dude, I didn't slow down until about 10 years ago. Not even 10 years ago.
I'm still waiting to slow down.
I'm 57, and my brain says I'm 20.
Yeah.
And I'm a moron because I go out and do things that I shouldn't be doing because I don't think I'm old and I'm too old, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, I'm getting winded now earlier, which is normal, I guess. But now that I know why, I was like, well, maybe I need to come over and talk to you a little bit.
Yep.
But you deal. Let's jump in. You actually deal with drug addiction treatment.
Yes, which is why we opened our physical location. A lot of the stuff that I do could easily be done via tele over Zoom, right? And for a few months, we built up a really good tele psych practice.
Okay.
It's just that Listen, I live in this area, right? I live in Port Richey. I worked in the hospitals here. I started as a paramedic in North Bay Hospital in the ER, and then when I became a nurse, I moved on, and within the hospital. I know what this area is affected by. We have an opioid pandemic, right here,
here.
There's no doubt about it.
Pasco is like it's almost like it's the epicenter.
Yeah, and if anyone around the country, if they ever watch an episode of Live PD, they know Pasco. They know Pasco County. They know Pasco. So it came to a point where I'm looking around, I wanted a specialty.
Right.
I'm like, well, what does our area need? Our area needs an outpatient facility or practice where people can go for opioid addiction treatment, and it's once a week. You come in, we do a urine drug screen on you, see how everything is. We do labs on you, see what's going on, see what other issues we could address, and once a week you get your treatment. You leave with your prescription. We don't dispense any medications out of our practice. You go to pharmacy just like for anything else. So you get a prescription for Suboxone. You'll get a prescription for naltrexone, which helps with cravings, and that helps with cravings for everything. Right across the board.
Oh, okay.
And Zofran to help you with any nausea you might feel as you start to withdraw from the opiates that you're on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've watched family members and I've watched friends of families that were on medication for an accident or something like that.
And that's how it happens. It's that innocent.
Right. And then the medication gets so expensive.
Yes.
That they go, oh, and then next thing you know, they're on opioids.
Yeah.
Because they're cheaper and they're harder to get, but they're easier to get.
Yeah.
Right. And next thing you know, now you've got people that are shooting up, which they've never shot up before. It was always oral medications and stuff like that. And then it's a problem.
Or they just one step further, they start taking the medication the way their doctors told them all along, and now because the DEA is more involved and they crack down on stuff, they're making it harder to get those medications. Where your primary care physician's like, I know you've been on Xanax, for example, and I only said it because I have like 2-3 people just this week who've gotten in touch with me about it. And you're 60 years old, and you've been on it since you're 25 because that was a scripted choice at the time.
Right.
I'm not going to give that to you anymore. And now you're dependent.
Right.
You're physically dependent on, never mind psychologically, physically, your body's become dependent on that medication. So where do you go? Now you got to come to me, and a lot of people in my position are like, nope, we just got to DC that and just take you off at 100%. I want to work with you to get you off of it slowly, safely, and reintroduce other things to you, like different medications or over-the-counter supplements and some coping skills to help.
Yeah. I'm reading on your site, is it Suboxone?
Suboxone, yes. That's the medication. Yes.
Now, does that help you wean from the opiate?
Yes, and eventually then wean off of that. And some people can, some people can't. And no matter what, I'm going to help you either way. Okay. Right. Some people are going to relapse, right? They're going to fall down. Right. My job is not to judge you. My job is not to throw you back out into the street. My job is to be that constant for you, which is what I want. I want you to know that no matter what's going on, no matter how many times you fall down, I'm going to help you get back up and help you to get on that back on track.
Dang, that is awesome. So what are the benefits of Suboxone?
Suboxone will help get you off of those opiates. It and that's one of the reasons we will do the urine drug screens, to make sure it's in your system, to make sure you're not diverting it to someone else or you're not selling it, to make sure you're actually taking it, because those things happen.
Yeah.
I've had a patient last week ask me like, oh, you just want to see what I'm on so you could hold that against me. I'm not trying to hold anything against you. I will hold you accountable, because that's part of recovery. You have to hold yourself accountable. We should all hold ourselves. I hold myself accountable every day. If I wake up in the morning and I'm not hitting that 4:30 workout, I hold myself accountable. Like I need to.
Right.
Like the rest of the day, I'm like, what the hell, you lazy ass.
You're always hardest on ourselves.
Yeah, and that's all. That's all. I just want you to be accountable for yourself. This way, you can start moving forward, and that's what the medication makes that possible for you, because it reduces that urge that you're going to have to just go out and get high.
Right. Well, let's talk about the whole core issue, the stigma, because asking for help is not what we do.
No, we don't. We're men.
We're dudes.
Yeah.
I could fix this.
Yeah.
I'll just do it myself.
But the greatest strength though comes from leaning on each other. Right. Right. You're a movie guy. The movie The 300.
Oh.
How did the Spartans hold off that army for so long?
Because they leaned on each other.
Their shields they overlaid to become a wall. An individual shield's not going to stop 10 arrows.
Nope.
You interlock them, right?
Yep.
You start doing that with them. And now you start building. You saw it in Guardians of the Galaxy in the first one, when the what was it? The Nova Corps, their ships formed that shield.
Yes, right.
An individual ship wasn't going to stop anything. All those ships held it off held off Ronan the Accuser for quite a while.
That's right.
Right? So it's the same thing. You're going to lean on me, just like the song says, when you're not strong.
Yeah.
I'll be your friend.
Yeah.
I'll be your strength to help you carry on.
Yeah.
It's no different. I just want to get you to that point where then you can go on your own. You know?
And that's to me, that's huge. So how do you start recognizing someone that's got a problem going on?
If you have to set a timer on your phone to go off in 6 hours, 8 hours, so you don't forget to take that pain med or whatever, or that anxiety medication, you're dependent. And it's not I had someone the other day came to our open house and he was like, well, you know, just because someone, you know, if they're not out on the street begging for money, they're not addicted. No. There's a difference.
Right.
Dependency. Okay. If you have to do these things where I have to set that timer on my phone because I can't forget, because I can't miss that medication, I can't miss that Xanax, I can't miss that Klonopin, I can't miss that whatever. Mm-hmm. You're dependent on it.
Okay, so that is like, now is it something that we can look at and go, hey, dude, you may have a problem?
Yeah, if you see someone acting like that, you see someone like towards the end of the day, they start getting a little jittery, then all of a sudden they go to the bathroom, they come back and they're chill. You know. And again, to say addiction, it's dependency. Our bodies
I like that word better.
Have become, and it's just like people aren't substance abusers, we're substance users. We use these things because we're trying to seek benefits from them, whatever it is. Right. You know.
Okay, let's talk about the different types of treatments.
Okay.
Because I mean, I know you do the medication side of it. Is there other sides?
Yeah, I mean, there's always talk therapy, and it all depends what you're coming to me for. If you are coming to me for addiction, there's going to be a therapy component. We have a therapist that works with us that she handles addiction therapy, and she's gonna, when she starts building up her client base, she'll start doing groups for secondary meeting every week with patients. If you're coming to me for weight loss, because you're obese or just I'm just trying to get, you know, these last 25 pounds off.
Right.
We have a nutritionist that will work with you and come up with an exercise program with you and give you a meal plan to follow.
Nice.
It's all encompassing. It's not. We have a primary care. We have a couple different primary care nurse practitioners that work with us to handle your medical issues, because I'm a psych provider.
Right.
There's only some medical stuff I can
legally
take care of.
Right.
You know.
Now, do you deal with alcohol as well?
Yes.
Okay, because I know we've been talking opioid, but you know.
Yes.
No, that to me is it's if you've got one, you're probably. Do you ever find it that one will push to
the
a
other?
different?
Yeah, because it's like, hey, we can only get so much benefit from our crutch for so long.
Right.
You turn to something else, or you start mixing. And you know, when you see someone, when you have a friend of yours who is on, you know, opiates for pain medications, and you see them drinking a couple beers, you're like, ooh. They might, and again, it's innocent. It's not like there's no malice behind it.
They're not thinking it through that way. It becomes
another thing. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the same thing with food. I mean,
I'm a food.
Right? I mean, my last question is about pizza. I'm a food addict.
We're gonna hit that.
I love food. I mean, I cook. I love it. So to me, I won't even think sometimes as, hey, maybe I had 2 slices of pizza an hour ago, but there's another slice of pizza in that refrigerator. I'm going to have it before we go to bed. Yeah. Doesn't matter, because it's the same thing. It's just deep down inside, we're all addicted to something. It just happens.
And when I start jumping out of airplanes again, you need to handle me. I did that once. At one point in time, I wouldn't do myself. I would jump out with tandems. I love tandems.
Okay.
Not that I like some dude hanging on me, because most of the time my instructors were women, so it was awesome. But I felt like I could do that, and it was safer because they had more control. But I liked the adrenaline.
Of course.
I mean, that was. And bungee jumping, I used to do that all the time. I thought that I'm an idiot. I'm like, and that one I do by myself. I'm like, okay, let's just jump off a bridge and hope a rubber band holds me. Yay! So when you find your treatment and you get into it, I know you say you're the support, right? But there's got to be a support system around you.
You have to have someone outside.
Because you're not 24/7.
Yeah, I'm not 24/7. I know some of my patients wish I was. I'm not 24/7. I do sleep at some point. There are times, listen, I wake up
and eat pizza with pineapple on it.
There are times I will wake up on a Saturday morning at 4:30, you know, to put my, you know, get my gym clothes on, and I will have text messages from patients and over the course of the night. And at some point, it does turn into that. How come you're not responding to me?
Right.
Bro, I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Listen, I know I might be good. I'm not being egotistical. I'm good. I'm not that good where I could respond to text messages in my sleep. It's like I just can't. So yeah, you do have to have something. even if it's just one person. And that's why I'll always encourage, if you come into me for addiction, I will encourage you, go to Alcoholics Anonymous, go to NA, because those are support systems. If you don't have one in place yourself, like if you don't have family, if you don't have friends, and a lot of people don't,
Right.
I have 2 friends that I know I can count on. 3. Actually, I got 4. I got another one sitting over there.
Now, so in my world,
Yeah.
this is what a friend is.
Yeah.
I can call you
Anytime.
3:30 in the morning. I need $200, no questions asked.
Yeah.
I get that to me.
Yes.
That's a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they'll go, I'll be right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's a real friend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So a lot of people don't have that. So it's like, and that's where it's like you got to look outside, and the groups like NA and AA, they do wonders for people.
Right.
They really do.
Yeah. I've always wondered if the more, I don't want to call them popular, but the more like double AA and Smokers Anonymous and all those kind of guys and drug and those guys, do they really help, or are they looking for the money to support the back end so everybody can get paid, and they'll sit there and let the people sit and chat and do their I mean, it depends.
I mean, listen, no matter what, in every area, every walk of life, there's going to be
good and bad.
that's good and bad, right? Every industry is going to have a con artist. It doesn't matter,
right? So my question is this? And I think this is my drill down. How does one get started? You got to admit, right? You got to
you got to know that there's a problem.
I got a problem.
Yes. So, like for me, I was 350 pounds.
I would have never said you were big.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture when we're done. Like, I was 350 pounds. I was exercising and working out, whatever, but I was big, and I worked night shift. I ate poorly. I drank a lot. It's when you work night shift in a hospital. These are the things that come. These are the things that come with the job. They just do.
You don't eat good.
You don't eat well.
Sleep good.
Yeah, and I was in school 2 days during the week and working 3 nights a week.
Right.
So these are the things that happened. I had an unhealthy lifestyle. Ended up in a hospital bed, myself. And I was like, oh, I can't keep going like this.
No.
You just can't. You know, when you have a doctor tell you, hey, you are morbidly obese, you're like, what? You're like 350 pounds. You're like, oh my God, I'm 300 pounds. You don't even, because you don't realize it. Right. So now it's like, yeah, that is the first step. You have to realize that there's a problem, and you have to be willing to do something about it.
Okay.
Well,
so now, do you deal with insurances, or is everybody self-pay?
Most of our patients are self-pay. We have some insurances that we are affiliated with, United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, and Oxford. We're trying for Florida Blue, but it's a very long, tedious, and expensive process. Yeah, I have a credentialing person that this is what she does, and it's about $3,000, to spend to get it done. And I think she put our paperwork in 2 weeks ago. And as of this morning, it's still in the pending phase to be looked at. Like that's the process. You're on a waiting list to then be processed.
Right.
So it could take like 6 months. Sometimes for a small practice like me, one person, I don't have a market share for me to say, hey, I have 35 people I'm trying to credential. Let's get on her list of clients. I'm at the bottom. I know it, and that's fine. Right. I'm the small guy, and it's I deal with it as best I can.
Okay, and nobody's journey is going to be the same, is it?
No, everyone's different, and that's the thing. That's where it's like that's why it's individualized. Your thyroid could be low, mine could be high. Our treatments are going to be differently, even though we might have the same symptoms. We might be experiencing the same things, but our treatments are going to be very different.
Wow. Okay. So where are you located?
Right over on 52 in Hudson at the 8223 State Road 52, right off the traffic light at La Madeira.
Oh, I know where you're at.
Yeah,
okay, you're in the little plaza there.
Yeah, the little tiny plaza, not Sunshine, but the little tiny one. Yeah.
And what's your hours over there?
I'm there Monday to Friday, 10 to 6. I have another psychiatric nurse practitioner. She does some hours during the week at night and on the weekend. So we have something that we could try to accommodate just about anyone.
Do you find? I think we got a couple of minutes left. Do you find that when you get a group of like-minded, and when I say like-minded, they have an issue, they got something going, they've all recognized it. Do you find that they become their own core support groups?
Yes. Yeah, that's the whole, and that's why you have group therapy. Everyone, you get to share experiences, but then you also get to share positives as well as negatives. It's like, hey, this is stuff that worked for me.
Right.
Okay, let me try to implement that, or let me put my spin on what worked for you and see how that goes.
I always found and I'm not ashamed to talk about it, but when I was younger, my younger years, I was on the road a lot. I worked with big bands and studios and stuff like that. And that's a lifestyle that is just rough, right? And it's kind of funny. You start doing the drug, recreational, all that kind of stuff. You get into it and you really get into it. And then one day we actually had a group of us guys that would sit around. We're drinking beers, talking about our drug addiction.
Yeah.
We're like, we got to get off this crap. It's really killing us. It's killing me. I'm going to be old
at night shift, we would go to the bar. There's a couple of bars that are open at 7 a.m. for breakfast. And we'd be sitting there at 7 a.m. or 7:30 drinking beer saying, we really got to stop doing this.
Right.
But 3 days later, we'd be back doing the same thing.
Yeah,
I won't say the name of the bars, but they were very hospitable and gracious to us. And I'm grateful for those times because I had some of the best conversations ever. You do. But you really, as you're pulling back, the corona, you're like, oh, I gotta stop doing this. This is so bad.
That Coke is not good for me.
Yeah.
That marijuana, speed, dude. And we lived on speed.
Yeah.
I mean, back then it wasn't, I don't know, it was just different. I thought
the 70s.
And the 80s. Oh my God. Coke was everything. But anyway,
Well, just like the commercial said, Coke is it.
Yeah, Coke is it, baby. And it kept me going, and I was able to do my job. So 5 minutes left. So this is before we get to the pineapple question.
Okay.
So really, what made you wake up one day and go, this is what I want to do for a living?
I was in construction in New York back like 2007.
Oh, never mind. No said. No,
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
And the economy crashed, right?
Yeah.
And I found myself out of a job for quite some time. And at one point I was homeless. I was sleeping in my car. And my dad had said, hey, come down here and stay with us and whatever. I was in, like I said, living in New York. And he said, you need to do something else. And I was like, all right, I don't know. Like what? He goes, I don't know. Figure it out. So I just started thinking, what do I like? I just started going through what TV shows do I like? Well, I like what was it? Emergency, right? Back from the 70s, right? Rampart, right? Really looking to be an EMT. Went to EMT school right over here at Kaiser, over in Newport Richie. Became a paramedic. Loved it. I met some awesome people. Still some of my closest friends I met as being a paramedic. And I was like, well, I want to do more. Paramedics, for as great as a job as it is, working in the private sectors in EMS, it doesn't pay very well.
Nope, it doesn't.
So it's like, all right.
Did it?
So what's the next thing? All right, well, next stop up is a nurse. Like, okay. So you start getting into nursing. You're like, okay, well, I want to do more.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, what can I do? Well, what letters do you have after your name?
Right.
So it's like, all right, I could have gone back to school for a master's in business and went on the business side, but I like having my hands into stuff. I like this. I like talking. I like interacting.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I got to be a practitioner. So went back for my master's and became a psychiatric nurse practitioner.
Dude, that's awesome.
Thanks.
You have an addiction.
Yeah.
To helping.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
I was going to say of having working 7 days a week, because that's exactly what I've been doing for the last 13 years. But helping people, definitely.
Yeah, I belong to I lived in a little town up northeast, and we didn't have a paid fire department. So I got my paramedics and EMT, right?
Oh, awesome.
I've delivered 7 babies.
Oh, that's so cool.
But I tell you that was one of the most fulfilling careers.
Yeah.
But you will never make any money.
No.
And you will be poor as dirt.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. Every firefighter, paramedic you see, he's got a side job.
Yep.
Or lawn business.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Or they work at the hospital.
Yeah, but there's always a second job.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes left. Why pineapple on pizza?
The thing is, it can't just be pineapple. You can't just throw a bunch of shredded pineapple on a pizza and be like, here you go. It's got to have the ham. It's the whole thing. You got to do it the Hawaiian style, right? It's just like a white pie, right? A Greek pie, right? Ooh. You got to have the. You can't just have the feta.
No.
You need the onions and the olives and the peppers and the spinach. You need. It's got to be the whole thing. And if you're not gonna go all the way with that, right? You can't half-ass it. You can't just have the pineapple. It's got to be the whole Hawaiian experience. Maybe instead of even some ham, maybe have some smoked pulled pork on it. Something, right? You got to have that sweet and the savory together. It's just like bacon. Bacon is awesome on pizza. The first time my friend Greg told me, we're going to put bacon on pizza, I was like, what are you talking about?
You're putting bacon on pizza for?
Put bacon on a pizza. But then you taste it like, oh my God, this is awesome. It's salty, it's sweet, it's savory, it's smoky. It's got to go on every pizza.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So yes, pineapple can go on pizza, but it's got to be the whole experience. It can't just be open up a can of Dole and toss it on top.
I've seen people do that.
I know. That's what's wrong.
What is wrong with you people? So that's
mental illness. You're talking about running wild.
Yeah. Now there's something we need to have. You need to go checked out for. So tell them, everybody at home, the best way to get a hold of you. So that and especially if they've got a problem, it's kind of funny. You go, oh, you got a problem, and you got those three fingers pointing back at you.
Listen, I learned this in construction. If you got one finger pointing at you, you get three back pointing the other direction.
That's right. So let's tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
You just go on our website, caliperwellness.com. There's a contact button. I believe it's on the upper right-hand part of the screen. I'm looking at it right there. If you say book appointment, there's the telephone number on the upper right. And you get me. That is that number there comes right here. And yeah.
So are you taking new patients?
Always. I had a friend ask me the other day. She's like, "Hey, there's like 3 of us in our weight loss group. Are you taking new patients?" I'm like, "When am I not?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Who does it?" I know, and I know people aren't. I'm a one-man show. We're taking patients.
We'll take patients.
Yeah.
You like to eat.
Yeah.
Pizza.
I like to eat
with pineapple and ham on it.
Whiskey, so I like drinking whiskey, and that stuff's expensive.
So, brother, thank you for coming on.
No,
I am so glad that you reached out to us because, this is, I've dealt with it myself. I've dealt with my family. I've dealt with some of my best friends. I've lost friends because of it. And this is something that's really, really, truly needed. And someone like yourself who's really got a passion for it. I couldn't thank you more from coming on and being on part of it. So everybody, hey, look, you know what? If you've got someone, if you know someone, if you've got a problem, give this man a call. Get help.
Yes.
Even if you don't go to him, and I hate to say that, just get help.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see everybody next week on Open for Business.